Well, if ever you wanted a closer finish, you just couldn't have got one closer than what we saw last time out in the Honda British Talent Cup at Donington Park. It was absolutely sensational. Sullivan Mounds in number 4 was out for the first time this season and really in the mix, but contact on the way as well at Coppice Corner with the Dutch rider Keanu Vaya, who's really making a name for himself this season as well. But it was Carter Brown and Johnny Garness who would end up being side by side over the finish line. So many big moments for Sullivan Mounsley, the half British, half Jamaican rider. Keanu Vaya looked like he was contending for the win again, but what a move around the outside of the old hairpin by lightweight Johnny Garness, and taking advantage of the loss of momentum for the Dutch rider was Carter Brown. But they would each head home with 25 points. It was an absolute dead heat over the line into the Wheatcroft straight. Loss of momentum for Garness. Side by side with him goes Carter Brown. Dead heat, 25 points apiece. Last time out at Donington Park. Now they move north of the border. So welcome along to race 7 of 18 in the 2022 Honda British Talent Cup. We're at Knockhill in Scotland. The weather conditions are good. Yes, it is windy, but it's dry, unlike the very, very poor weather conditions we saw here for the opening practice sessions on Friday. And what better man to have in the commentary box alongside myself, Greg Haynes, than Neil Mackenzie, the 3-time British Superbike champion who won 5 of his 6 BSB races here in his title seasons of 96 to 98. We'll come to Neil in a second as we get an update on the conditions. He's just come in wearing a kilt, which is probably not ideal when you've got strong winds like this. Bailey Stewart Campbell then on the second row of the grid, 6th place. Carter Brown in that dead heat we saw is 19 points behind the championship leader in the middle of row 2. Sullivan Mounsley on the Wilson racing machine. Watch out for him, the 15-year-old half British, half Jamaican rider. Up to the front row we go with a podium finisher from last year, Harrison Crosby on the Banks racing machine, 3rd on the grid, easy to spot with the yellow livery. Evan Belford, welcome back Evan, after breaking the tibia near his ankle in a horrible crash in the very first practice session of the season at Silverstone, and he did the double here last year, so a great place to return. But it is Johnny Garness with the shark teeth on the helmet, that 19-point championship lead over his teammate Carter Brown on the pole position again, and he was rapid from practice, as was Sullivan Mounsley for that matter, on Friday. 2 warm-up laps for all of the categories here at Bennett's BSB, and what is the shortest circuit on the calendar at 1.2 miles, 2 kilometres. But Neil, first of all, you have got your Scottish kilt on. It is windy outside. That must bring its obvious perils.
It certainly does, but wear the appropriate undergear underneath the kilts. There's no problem there. But yeah, it does keep cooling to the max. I always change into my kilt just to come over the border, just because it makes me feel a bit more at home. But yeah, and celebrating being back at Knockhill, especially for the spectators over the couple of years. They've been starved of racing, and we're just so glad to see them back here. And you can see in the background there, car parks, campsites, everything's full, and everyone coming along to cheer on Scottish riders pretty much in every class. So yeah, just nice to be back on the hill.
Yeah, in terms of this class, we've got 2 Scots, watch out for them. Troy Jeffrey and Scott McPhee, cousin of John McPhee, the Moto3 World Championship rider. They're separated by just 3 days, both born in July 2008. There's the situation then. Garness leading Brown by 19 points. Keanu Vaya of the Netherlands is 3rd. Desoy, Crosby, Julian Correa, the rider from America, from Florida, completing the championship top 6. And remember, fastest laps from this first race today will decide the grid for race 2 here on Sunday. You can see the breeze in the background there with the trees. Here's the grid then for race 1, and this one of course was decided by qualifying. So Garness on the pole, Belford alongside, and then Crosby was in the first 2 rows already, with Mounsley, Brown and Stuart Campbell completing row 2. Troy Jeffrey, one of the 2 Scots, is 7th with Reece Stevenson aiming for that first win. Lucas Brown going well this weekend. Watch out for Correa from America in the middle of row 4. There's the rest of the grid. Short circuit here, Neil, not necessarily the easiest to pass on in this part of the track now, but certainly on that run up the hill and down into Duffer State we're going to see some great action, and of course the Taylor's hairpin as well.
That's right. Passing is difficult for the bigger classes, but for the Honda British Talent Cup, there's these guys are a bit more manoeuvrable. Things are a little bit more agile with their bikes, so there's definitely more passing opportunities. Bit of slipstreaming on the back straight, the Hislop straight here, and of course the long start-finish straight. So yeah, lots of passing opportunities. But the big thing for these guys, you said there's a nice breeze in the background there. It's 20-mile-an-hour winds, and that can affect these guys a little bit more. Their bikes are light, riders are very small. Johnny Garness in particular, the championship leader, he's a little guy, and there's a lot of buffeting going on around here. There's been riders jumping off, just been caught out with the gusting. There's a tailwind down the start-finish straight, and of course the tailwind, which means that they're going faster into turn one, and when they turn in, that gust is hitting them on the right-hand side of the bike. So it's easy just to lose the front there. You can see that breeze, see the trees moving, and you see the high up camera positions as well. The cameras are wiggling around there. These guys are it's all quite precarious up there, but so it's going to be difficult. Yeah, see the flag marshal at the front there. He's bracing himself just to keep that thing straight. So, and I think the wind is increasing as we speak.
Yes, it's not particularly cold temperature-wise, but it's making it feel very cold here in the paddock at Knockhill. So it's race 7 of 18. We've had doubles so far at Silverstone, Alton and Donington. Here we go for Knockhill, the only race only race weekend, I should say, north of the border this year. And it's race number 7 of the season. Green flag at the back, you know the drill by now. Oh, and there's a rider waving already, number 27, Ted Wilkinson's in trouble. Are they going to have to delay the start? Are we going to get another warm-up lap? Drama already then before the race has even started. The first of the races on the agenda this weekend here at Bennett's BSB for Knockhill. Now, are they going to be able to get this start underway, or are they going to have to send them round again? I think they're going to get a start. Yes, we are. Green flag again. Lights are on. The lights will go out, which they do now. And the race is going. Look at Sullivan Mountain, number 4. Superb start again from 4th on the grid. And number 4 is going to be number 1 as they get down into the first for the first time. No, he's not. Straight round the outside. Evan Belford, what a return to the Talent Cup after breaking his leg in a very nasty accident at Silverstone in the very first practice session of the season. Troy Jeffries made a good start as well for Scotland. People are getting themselves sorted out down through the right hand of McIntyre's up to the chicane. Nice clean start, Neil.
Certainly was, and it is great to see Evan Belford back here. He did attend the test. There was a handful of the Honda British Talent Cup riders came up for the test a couple of weeks ago, and he was one of them. He was in a little bit of pain, but as I said then, it's the best physio, getting through, getting back in the bike and getting things working. But it's so good to see him back to form. And yeah, Sullivan Mounsey there, he just underlined the fact how manoeuvrable these bikes are. He was just swishing around there as they headed off the line, and just ducking and diving in between some other riders. So a great start for the number 4 as well.
Yeah, he really darted between them all, didn't he, off the line? If we see a replay later on, and certainly the highlights, you'll see that. But there goes Garness then at the start of lap 2, straight back in front of his old teammate, Evan Belford. Garness this year, regular viewers will know, is with the Michael Laverty Vision Track Academy team in 2022. Last year he was with Ryan Saxby's team, the bike behind him, the City Lifting RS racing machine there with the red livery. This is the chicane, 4 is Mounsey, and as I said off the start, Troy Jeffries made a brilliant getaway, hasn't he? At home in Scotland, and he's up there in 4th place.
Yeah, Troy's a little guy as well. He's got a lot of potential, by far his best qualifying this year. Of course, coming to the home circuit, you've got that added advantage. You've got the crowd behind him, the family are all here, so great to see Troy up there having a good time. And we know he's got the potential, but he's a lot of new tracks, he's in some steep competition, but it's just so nice that he comes to a familiar track. He's got that nice little advantage.
Well, very different conditions this weekend for Johnny Garness in comparison with where he was last weekend. Barcelona with the European Talent Cup track temperatures there right up. The air temperature as well, it was 38 degrees Celsius for him in the European Talent Cup at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya last weekend, but he's edging away now from Belford as we move into only the 3rd lap of this race. Look, a new lap record already then for Johnny Garness. The previous one was 2021. Last year from Belford, it was a 54.6, and already, well, he's just gone underneath it by 5 thousandths of a second. 54.630 becomes the new lap record, and look, moment there for Belford turning into Clark's.
Yeah, have to be careful exceeding track limits, and that's one corner you can do that. If you get on the green concrete there, you can't do that too many times. There goes Sullivan Mounsey down the inside, right leg dangling into that hairpin, and that hairpin quite tight, but it also goes uphill, so you've got to let the brakes off quite early to sort of counteract that speed, scrubbing off the speed as you head up the hill there. But that was a brilliant pass there. He's super confident, and new lap record, as you said, that's particularly impressive in these windy, difficult conditions.
So this is Mounsey versus Belford. Mounsey up now into what would be his best finish so far. That's 2nd place, Evan Belford. Great return though. It was a horrible, horrible accident. It was the first few minutes of the first few practice session of the season back at Silverstone. Crashed at Brooklands and was run over, unfortunately, by Garness, who had nowhere to go right behind him. Broken leg for Belford, out of action. And can he do, I wonder, what Casey O'Gorman did last year by coming back into the championship and eating up a massive deficit? It's very good, very difficult, Neil, but stranger things have happened.
Not impossible, yeah. It was here at Knockhill where things went a little bit awry for Casey O'Gorman. He had that crash there, it cost them a lot of championship points, but he certainly come back and did the business. So yeah, why not? Evan Belford having a look round there just to see the number 74 in view. Carter Brown, one of the bigger lads in this championship, and he's also doing quite a lot of racing in Europe, so riding all kinds of machinery all over the place, which is a good thing. But back to the British Talent Cup this weekend at Knockhill.
So here's the 53 of Keanu Via, right behind him Harrison Crosby. They'd like to be higher up the field than where they are at the moment, and that's 7th and 8th places. The same goes for Reece Stevenson, number 23 there, with the flag of Lincolnshire on the fairing, and his helmet too most of the time is in 9th place. Lucas Brown is 10th. Harrison Desoit is 11th, and it's Rowan McKay, Julian Correa, the American, 14th, and Ollie Walker, not having a great weekend here so far, down in 15th position. This is the Taylor's hairpin at the end of the lap, named after the former sidecar world champion Jock Taylor, and look at Stevenson trying to get it slowed down there as he brakes for the hairpin. There's been a lot of big moments coming out of there with people applying the power too hard earlier on in the weekend, and we have seen, Neil, of course, over the years, quite a few high sides coming out of that corner.
It is one of the trickier sections and probably the highest incidence of crashes here at Knockhill, and not particularly anything wrong with the track, but what happens is you're heading uphill, you're rolling on the throttle, there's a tiny dip as you come out onto the start-finish straight there, and that's sometimes when the suspension unloads, just when the guys are using quite a lot of power on the edge of the tyre. Really easy to tip off there. That was a good run through there for Harrison Crosby. He qualified third but didn't get the best of starts, the number 15 on the Banks racing machine. Yeah, I'm just noticing quite a lot of riders exceeding track limits as they come out of class, so these will mount up, they'll have to be careful.
Yeah, countless lap times have been removed, not just in qualifying but across practice yesterday as well. Stevenson now attacking, but look how much later on the brakes Via is, down through the hairpin. Now let's see whether Via, who's lightweight, can draft ahead of Crosby, who's one of the taller, heavier riders in the field. And look at this now, the fight for second, and that's Belford back in front of Sullivan Mounsey, but almost unbelievably in the Talent Cup. They are 2.3 seconds behind leader Johnny Garnett already, and this is only lap 7 of 22, as you can see at the top of the screen. That's what the lead looks like, and it's increasing by the sector.
I suppose we shouldn't be surprised. Johnny Garnett did qualify in pole position, 0.4 of a second in front of Evan Belford, which is a huge chunk in this class, so he's obviously got something good going on in practice, good with his bike setup. The wind not affecting him at all, which I suspected it would, so that's really good to see. And in fact, all of these guys dealing with the tricky conditions very well.
Yeah, Johnny's dad Tom was telling me, Neil, that into the weekend they were running in a new engine on Friday morning, and after about 4 laps he was already putting in purple sector times and decided, I'm happy with the new engine. Let's start setting some almost lap record times early on. Obviously they had the rain as well, didn't they, in that very first session. But yeah, he pushed on. He just seems to turn up to these venues with massive confidence from the word go this year.
Well, that's it. And yeah, they did lose quite a lot of track time. As I said, there was quite a few came here testing. Evan Belford was one of them. You can see it's definitely paid dividends for him. He's back on form, fitness is back. Nicely through the chicane. The chicane is such an important part of this racetrack. It's basically, follow there.
Yeah, and this is coming out of the right-hander at McIntyre's, leading up towards the chicane. It's been a relatively clean race so far, but one of them hitting trouble early doors in this one, and it is the 15, as you can see, of Harrison Crosby. We were talking about him before, one of the taller riders in the field. He was in 7th place as he crossed the line, and he was locked together. He had Jeffrey right ahead of him. Stevenson was right behind him. Let's have a look.
Yeah, just heading down through Butchers there.
No, he's gone by himself.
Like, yeah, I mean, you use all the curb coming out there, but it looked like he tipped in a little bit late. You can see where he took the front and quite a wide line, so he's making good progress. He managed to get himself past that group, and he'd kind of broken away a little bit, but maybe just pushing a little bit hard as he's headed out of Scotsman down through Butchers.
Oh, what a shame. Oh, and another one's gone down, and that's the leader, Johnny Garnett. We said he had a lead. It was 3.2 seconds at the start of this lap, but on lap 9 of 22, it is his last. Can you believe it? Johnny Garnett is out of the race. Whether he's been caught out by the strong crosswinds, I don't know. Let's have a look. He's just come through the chicane, and he's out as well, Neil.
It is tricky there. I'm not sure wind's a big problem there, but what is a problem is you rush over there, you're trying to carry all your momentum through there, but as you come off the other side, the track dips away. It's very much off camber as you tip right, and it's so easy just to lose a little bit of front traction there, or even lose front and rear traction as the track veers off. So Johnny Garness, massive lead he had, over 3 seconds.
And all of a sudden, there was 0.003 of a second between the top three as they started the lap. And Carter Brown dives up the inside of Belford. Did he exceed track limits? Very close if he didn't. And what it means, of course, is that Sullivan Mounsey, who briefly led off the start from 4th on the grid, now has the best opportunity of his life to win a race here in the Honda British Talent Cup. Carter Brown goes through. They know Garness is out of the race. Carter Brown knows he's 19 points behind and therefore knows if he's first or second in this one, he takes the championship lead.
I feared Carter Brown might struggle a little bit here because he is a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, so loses out a bit from the hairpin here as they head up the hill. He's not going to have the best power to weight ratio up here, but he's been doing a fantastic job just beavering away there, put himself in a podium position and now put himself very much in a race winning position that teammate Johnny Garness has gone down.
Okay, let's just take stock as we approach half race distance at the end of this long. Lap 11 of 22. Mounsey then leads. He's never won a race in the Talent Cup before. Carter Brown is second. Evan Belford back in action. And we said stranger things have happened, didn't we? He's only missed, I say only, 6 races so far. Remember what Casey O'Gorman did last season? Now in more trouble. And are we going to get a stoppage or a safety car? Because this is coming out of the last corner. And there's at least 2 of them gone there. 3 of them are down. 3 are down, and I hope everybody is all right. But we're going to get some sort of delay to this race without any doubt at all. One of them's the 71 of Dan Goodman. 76, Charlie Huntingford is in there as well. And we think also the 33, Eli Banish, the American rider. Are we going to get a safety car or are we not? At the moment, this race is still continuing. But we did say earlier on, you can often have high sides coming out of that hairpin. As somebody else got involved, I wonder, in an initial accident as the rest of them put the power on coming out of the hairpin. But look at this. Mounsey then sweeps around the outside of Belford. These 3 are 2.5 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. All riders are up, we're hearing, over at the hairpin. That is great news. But wow, they're just dropping like flies at this point. Let's see if we can work out what happened then, Neil. Down into the hairpin we go.
3 abreast got in there. It's the classic. It's
yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, riders getting in trouble there through no fault of their own, but yeah, you see that just where the track levels out, dips, the suspension unloads, but that's spectacular. Unfortunately, it looks like all the guys walking away relatively unscathed.
Well, that was Eli Banish flying through the air there, the 13-year-old American on the Thornycroft 56 racing machine. What a race so far, and there's still half of it to go here at Knockhill. Well, it just goes to show anything can happen in motorcycle racing, doesn't it? Sullivan Mounsey then, Neil. He's never been in this position before. He's led races before briefly, but he's never been in...
Carter Brown, he's got technical. That's a technical problem. He dropped off as he lost the chain. I saw him slowing as they came down through turn 1 down the hill to the Scotsman corner.
Can you believe it? Johnny Garness out first, and now Carter Brown in an ideal position to lead the championship, and he is out as well.
Wow. That's incredible. Vision tracks guys falling like flies.
And where's Sullivan Mounsey, of course, only debuted in the championship last time out at Donington. So you wouldn't say he's a title contender at the moment, but with the way this is going, you just don't know. There's a long way still to go in this championship. It's lap 14 of 22 here at Knockhill in the first of 2 Honda British Talent Cup races so far this weekend. And we've got massive drama. Johnny Garness was already out of the race, and now his teammate Carter Brown has stopped with a technical problem. There he is, pulling off the track down at McIntyre's. We do believe the bike was smoking. Whatever it is, it's academic now because he's lost at least 16 points for what would have been 3rd in this race. He would have closed right in on Johnny Garness, and you can see if he's not in tears, he's certainly close to tears. Yeah. And who can blame him, Neil?
Yeah, frustrated stomp off there, but he obviously knew it was terminal straight away, picked the bike up, got off the track. Knew something wasn't quite right. I have never seen a rate of attrition like that, and when we spoke at the beginning of the race that anything could happen, and we were thinking, well, it probably won't, but I cannot believe what I'm seeing here. So many front runners going out.
Yes, because behind Garnett and Brown in the championship at the moment is Keanu Vire in third place. He is sixth in this race. Look, you can see now he would move up to second in the championship, just 14 points behind Johnny Garnett. And there's the rest of them, Desoy, Correa, Hitchcock, but neither of those, well, none of those three having particularly spectacular races in this one, with Troy Jeffrey at the moment in fourth place. Bailey Stewart Campbell is third, and they're fighting. They're locked together as well. You can see them in the back of the picture. There's the lack of adhesion flag out as well now. And that'll be for the exit, of course. That crash we saw just a few minutes ago with three riders down. Eli Banish got caught up in it and went flying through the air. But this is your fight for the win. And just to add even more drama to the equation, they're coming up to lapped traffic now as well. So there are light boards out around this track. There are 10 of them. There's 13 flag posts as well. So they're going to be busy very soon with the blue flags.
What a comeback for Evan Belford, the number 52. He'd been looking around quite a lot in this race, and I was thinking, don't look around, just focus on what's going on in front. But he's doing an amazing job. He's leading this one, looking like he could even win it. And there's the pride of Scotland going on at the back there with Bailey Stewart Campbell and Troy Jeffrey fighting for a podium. It would be an amazing weekend for Troy Jeffrey if he even went home with one podium. His family will be going nuts in the spectating areas, but it's so good to see, and what a confidence builder for him.
That was Ollie Horner there, just putting a lap on there, the 14-year-old from Salisbury. He's back for another ride. He did Alton Park earlier in the season. This is his second round of 2022 so far. Here is number 21 then. This is Troy Jeffrey, 13-year-old from Scotland, in Scotland, contending now for a podium. And like you say, Neil, his quarry is the 14-year-old Bailey Stewart Campbell from Wokingham in Berkshire. Can he overhaul him into the last few laps of this race? Bailey's having a really strong season as well, isn't he, on the pink and black machine? He's really improved this year.
Yeah, he really is. He's a good, nice contender. He's always in the mix. He's definitely been in the lead bunch quite a few times this year, and it's just a matter of time. But yeah, he just needs to keep his powder dry. Troy Jeffrey, he's Johnny Garnett's size, so yeah, you can see he got a nice run out the chicane there. Maybe a little bit of local knowledge into Clark's up the inside. Ooh, as you said, some lap riders coming up. They'll definitely come into play. You really have to time things right to try and get around them. Looks like Troy Jeffrey got it right this time, but Bailey Stewart Campbell down the inside into the hairpin, but not quite close enough on this occasion.
Yeah, Bailey Stewart Campbell's fighting for his first podium as well. Bikes up against the barrier in the background following the drama. A bit of debris off the line, luckily, coming out of the hairpin.
They have to be careful with that because it is quite dusty out there, and quite legal to use the blue and white paint there, so they have to be careful, maybe just getting on it too early and getting on the slippy stuff.
Okay, lap 18 of 22, 5 to go then, including this one. More back markers just a few hundred metres up the road. Here's Evan Belford, number 52, back in the Talent Cup for the first time this season in a race. And Sullivan Mounsey absolutely desperate to achieve what would be his first race victory. Belford was right up there, remember, in 2021 in the championship. Third overall, 3 wins and a further 6 podiums.
Yeah, great little runner from the Midlands, but Sullivan Mounsey's looking very racy. He's prepared to push that bike. Looks like he's probably riding a little bit harder. He's got the front suspension on the move. He's rattling around as he come into turn 1 on a couple of occasions as he's on the limit. Looks like he's almost bottoming out there, but he's certainly got the pace, but I'm not sure if he's got any moves planned up his sleeve. Getting there now, 19th lap out of 22.
And these bikes run by real specialists in the lightweight classes here at BSB. Ryan Sachs will be running this bike, the number 52 of Belford. Right behind there is the number 4 of Mounsey, and that's the Gary Wilson team, Wilson Racing. Here comes some more back markers though as they come up through the chicane and along to Clark's. Clark's, of course, named after the former double F1 world champion Jim Clark, Indy 500 winner, British Saloon Car title winner as well. And it all happened between 1963 and 65. If Jim Clark's not a legend, I don't know who is, Neil. They're coming up then to the Taylor's hairpin, and there are more back markers ahead of us. We'll cross the line. We'll have just 3 laps to go of Knockhill.
That looks like number 19, Scott McPhee there. Yeah, and Davidson right behind them there. Got their own little battle going on there. Oh, and they're going to catch him just at the wrong spot. Very fast here into turn 1, late on the brakes. There is some passing opportunities as they head down the hill into McIntyre's, and I suspect Evan Belford will maybe try and get underneath. He's not close enough on this occasion.
So Alfie Davidson, they need to overhaul first on the yellow bike. Oh, and they're being held up really badly here, and Sullivan Mounsey's got a perfect opportunity at the back of the group, hasn't he?
Well, to get a good run out of there, if he'd timed things nicely and pulled back a bit, he would get a good run out there, safely past. Davidson, and now they've got Scott McPhee in front of them. They'll slipstream along Hissy Straight there, and they will pass him quite safely before they get into Taylor's Hairpin.
Yeah, Scott McPhee, 13 years old from Oban. Yes, he is related to John McPhee. He's his cousin. John McPhee, of course, 3 times a Grand Prix winner in the Moto3 World Championship. Although he said, I'm not going to admit that Scott's my cousin until he starts finishing regularly in the top 10. But it's coming.
Too late, yeah. And why not, yeah.
Right, penultimate lap. This is lap 21 of 22. Where are the next back markers? Are they going to catch any more, I wonder, before the checkered flag? This is down through McIntyre's for the penultimate time in this race. They're 3.5 seconds ahead of Troy Jeffrey, who is still just keeping Bailey Stewart Campbell at bay for 3rd. Keanu Vaya 5th. That's good news for his championship. Reece Stevenson is 6th from Lucas Brown. Then it's Desoy, Correa, Rowan, Hitchcock, Walker, McKay, Edmonds, Kelly, Surowicz completing that leading bunch in the points positions. But this is your fight for the win, and watch how the 4 of Mounsey closes right in. Look, he's 2 or 3 bike lengths behind him at the moment, but you just watch how he closes in as they come out of this hairpin towards the line. Let's see how close he is. This is a dress rehearsal as we come to the last lap, and this is the fight going on for 3rd place. Back marker in the middle there, and it's still Troy Jeffrey at the moment ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell. The answer to the question was Mounsey was not close enough to Evan Belford as they came over the line.
Yeah, Evan Belford looks like a stronger package here. His rhythm's good, he's very smooth, his riding style's working really well. Sullivan Mounsey is riding the wheels off his bike, but I suspect that Evan Belford's bike's just a little bit nicer to ride. Looks like that city lifting machine is working perfectly, yeah, and he's got a nice run through the chicane there up to Clark's on this last lap. There's basically one last opportunity. I'm not sure Sullivan Mounsey is close enough as they head round to the hairpin.
And he's going to be unbeaten in 3 races if it stays like this. Belford did the double here at Knockhill last year. Is he going to make it 3 out of 3? Will he go defensive when he doesn't need to? No is the answer. And like we say, Mounsey will get a quick run out of the corner, but surely he's too far behind, barring any misgears or problems. Now there are not any misgears or problems. Belford, back from a badly broken leg at Silverstone, wins at Knockhill. 3 wins from 3 races for him in 2021 and 22. Mounsey 2nd, Jeffrey for Scotland is on the podium ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell. What a great story for Scotland already in what is just the first race on the agenda here at BSB at Knockhill this weekend, with the 2 leading the championship, Garness and Brown, out of this race. That really shakes things up in the championship. Evan Belford, though, back in the Talent Cup, and he's back on the top step of the podium immediately. Well, Neil, Mac, I think we saw tears earlier on for Garness and Brown, and we're going to see tears now for Belford, but for a very, very different reason.
Well, I'm so pleased for Evan Belford. As I said, I did speak to him and his father at the test a couple of weeks ago. A little bit concerned that he was in a bit of pain, a bit of discomfort. But he's back on the bike and he's making laps, and it really is the best kind of training, the best way to get back up to speed. So it was nice he did get some track time, and it's paid dividends coming here. That easily could have been a 5 or 6 way battle for the lead, but through nothing down to Evan Belford, he read the immaculate race. But as you said, also for Scotland, really nice to kick off the weekend with a podium position. And for Troy Jeffrey, I'm not sure if he'd be expecting to finish on this podium as they came here this weekend, but he's made it happen.
Now here's the fastest laps from this race, and significantly, of course, the top few grid positions for tomorrow. So Garness, before his crash, obviously got that fastest lap in. Belford and Mounsey will join him on the front row. Then it's Brown, Jeffrey and Stewart Campbell. So that is critical, isn't it, that Garness did set such a pace. Yes, he crashed, but at least he's got that pole for tomorrow, Neil. Into Parc Fermé they come, though. Sullivan Mounsey just missing out on that first win, but Belford, what a way to bounce back into the championship after breaking his leg so badly at Silverstone just a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Good though, mate. Good through sector 1. Really good down the hill.
Well, what a first race of the weekend here at Knockhill in Scotland. The Honda British Talent Cup, yes indeed, for Evan Belford, number 52, the 14-year-old from Grendon, Warwickshire, after a bad accident at Silverstone earlier this season and a broken leg. He's back racing for the first time this year, and he's a winner immediately. So Belford for Ryan Saxby's team wins. Mounsey just misses out on his first victory, but you know it's coming, don't you? And what a start it was for Sullivan as well. Troy Jeffrey, to the delight of the Scottish crowd, is on the podium, just ahead of Bailey Stewart-Campbell. Keanu Vire, a quiet race, but fifth is fifth, and that's good for the championship. Stevenson, Brown, Desoy, Correa from America, and Rowan completing the top 10. Then it was Hitchcock, McKay, Walker, Edmonds and Kelly completing the top 15. Edmonds, incidentally, at 12 years of age. Clayton Edmonds, the youngest rider in the field. So coming into the weekend, we had Garness leading Carter Brown by 19 points. That stays the same, of course, as they both failed to finish. Crash for Garness, technical problem for Carter Brown. Keanu Vire then takes advantage of that, moves up to second in the championship. He was 24 points behind Garness, now it is just 13. Of course, further back on this leaderboard with these first points of the season is the winner from this race, Evan Belford, banking 25 points, but obviously a long way behind in the championship after missing Silverstone, Alton Park and Donington National. But that just proves that anything can happen. That was only race 7 of an 18-race championship.
Evan Belford, well, what a way to return then to the Honda British Talent Cup with a win here after that leg break. I mean, how are you feeling at the moment?
I'm feeling so good. This is like one of the best ways to return ever. I'm so happy. It was a really hard race with Johnny clearing off. Unfortunately, he crashed. He must have just been pushing a bit of his luck too far. But I'm really happy with this result. I'm so happy.
And you got the double here as well last year. Is this a track that you love to come to?
Yeah, it's like I get along with this track quite a lot. It's tight and twisty. It's what I've been used to since I was about 7 years old, riding in Fab Racing. But yeah, this track just suits me really.
And we know you had that leg break at the beginning of the season. How is that feeling after that race victory?
I got a bit of the shakes in my leg. I've just got to go get a bit of physio tomorrow and then we'll be back for race 2.
How do you think you'll get on in race 2? You ready to bounce back again?
Hopefully, yeah.
Thank you, Evan. Congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done indeed. Thank you, Rachel. Great stuff as well for his dad, Craig. Let's not forget to mention Craig. Neil mentioned him a few times during the race. They were working certainly last year as well, weren't they, with Brains himself, Mark Woodage. I don't know whether that partnership is continuing into 2022, but he was doing his training bikes. The rider, of course, he's worked very closely with Jake Dixon over in the Grand Prix paddock.
Yeah, Mark Woodage was in the background there at the podium in the Parc Fermé there, so Mark very much still involved there. And yeah, Mark, John McPhee, crew chief, worked with Jake Dixon last year, so incredibly experienced technician, and yeah, good with the young riders as well. Yeah,
great stuff for all of them. They will be overjoyed, and as we heard, he's still not fully fit, so imagine what he'll do when he is. Well, following on from the photo finish at Donington Park when we saw Garness and Brown both awarded 25 points, what about this for race 7 of the season for the Honda British Talent Cup at Knockhill in Scotland? Sullivan Mounsey, brilliant start, lightweight advantage from 4th on the grid, was nearly in the lead into Duffus Dip, but at the end of the first lap, he was in 3rd place behind the championship leader Johnny Garness and the leader on the red bike, number 52, Evan Belford, back from a badly broken leg in practice at Silverstone earlier this season. This was his first race of 2022. And then, would you believe it, a 3.2 second lead for Johnny Garness ends in the gravel trap. He knew he'd thrown it away, 25 points. Down the drain. Great fight though for 3rd place. Troy Jeffrey, number 21, at home in Scotland. Number 9 on the pink and black bike. Bailey Stewart-Campbell was aiming for his first podium. Jeffrey got it. Mounsey was 2nd, but Evan Belford is back in action and back on the top step of the podium. Well, up onto the podium they will come, and it just goes to show you never know, but I mean, what frustration. First for Garnett to throw away the 25 points in what was almost certain victory there, about a third of the way through. That makes it 5 different winners now, by the way, from 7 races so far this season. We've had Garness, we've had Keanu Vire, then we had Garness again, Desoy, Harrison Desoy, a double last time out at Donington for Carter Brown, but of course one of those wins was shared with Garness, and now this man, number 52 from Warwickshire, Evan Belford on the City Lifting by Iris Racing bike, the 14-year-old on the top step of the podium. Alex Baldellini there, the former World Supersport podium finisher, who is the rider representative on behalf of Dorna, working in collaboration with Motorsport Vision Racing here at BSB. He goes with one-to-one briefings with all of these riders. They get them all in. It's a bit like a classroom when they get them all in the overall briefing. Taught them through the correct etiquette out on the track, as well as riding tips as well, of course. It seems like Belfort doesn't need too many tips at the moment. What a way to bounce back. And as I said, it was Brooklands Corner in the first practice session of the season back at Silverstone. He crashed and was hit by Garness, who had nowhere to go behind him. Troy Jeffrey, first podium in the Talent Cup. He's only 13 years of age from Kelso here in Scotland. Brilliant stuff for everybody at Mortimer Racing, the Victoria House Academy team. Second to Sullivan Mounsey, half Jamaican, half British rider. Number 4 on the Wilson Racing bike. You know that win is coming. And Evan Belford, it was 0.4 of a second in the end between them as he crossed the finish line on that last lap for a great first win of the season for Belford. Well, what drama. Garness out, Carter Brown out, Belford back in action and wins again.
The top 3 then.